Hey, what's good, guys? Today this is gonna be the first episode in the Redstone 101 series I'm gonna be doing. Today we're gonna be discussing flying machines, starting from the basics of flying machines, how they function, and going up to different types of useful flying machines, and then even TNT-Duping flying machines. Alright, let's get started with the very basics of a flying machine. So for the standard little two-directional flying machine, there's going to be a part of it that pushes and a part of it that pulls if it's going in this direction. So directionality going this way. This is the part that's going to pull the flying machine. So as you can see, this piston extends and then pulls that part of the flying machine. And then for the pushing part, it's going to push. It pushes and then pulls. So we just basically keep repeating that pattern over and over again. A push and a pull, and that's how we get our movement here. So we got a push and then a pull. And the order in which we do this is what determines the directionality for this simple flying machine. Alright, in order to understand how we're going to automate the process of flying machines using observers, we need to understand how observers are updated. So when we move this observer right here, it's going to detect that movement and then send a redstone signal out through the back of it. And it has a 1 tick delay inside the observer. So let's do that. We can see it detects the movement and that lamp lit up, which means that it sent out a little redstone signal there. Let's look at that again. Boom. We also need to understand this concept called quasi-connectivity, which means things like pistons and droppers can be powered sort of indirectly from the block above or diagonally from them. So if we look here, let's grab a little button. We can see that this piston is actually powered, despite the fact that this is an air block right here, but the piston is still powered, which is pretty important. Alright, so now for our first fully automated flying machine, we have the same push and pull design from before, super simple, barely any blocks, and then we're going to need a way to power these pistons, so we're going to use observers. As we just showed here, when observers are moved, they send out a signal. So that's basically the entire process. This observer is going to push, and this observer is going to send out a signal that pulls. And that little order is going to determine the directionality here. So if we launch the flying machine right here, we can see that it's pushing and pulling. And that process is automated because every time the observer moves, it sends out a signal. So that's pretty neat. We can send it back. We're using some movable blocks to stop it here. So you're probably thinking it'd be pretty annoying to place a button down every time you wanted to launch this bad boy. So we can automate this process by using pistons or trapdoors. You can see here when this piston extends, it's going to update the observer, which launches our little flying machine. You can do the same with trapdoors as well, and a few other types of blocks. Really, anything that'll update the observer that's not going to be not going to be carried by the flying machine will work. So you can see here a trapdoor will also do the trick. Just an automated way to kick off these little machines. Alright, let's say hypothetically you had a large field of bamboo that you wanted to harvest with a flying machine, maybe for some automated super smelter. So if we just use the design we have right now, it's not going to be able to knock over too much bamboo. So as you can as you can see here, it knocks over bamboo, but we're not getting that much bamboo out of it. So let's send it back. We can do a few things here. Actually, I'd like to send it a little bit farther away first. The first thing we can do is we can make the machine more modular, and we can extend it by doing something like this. Yeah, let's do this. So we have a little piston that's powered by another observer that shoots out. So now, if we add a little arm here, we're not going to run into the push limit for this part of the machine because now they're separate. So if we update our machine and we send it along its way, we have an extra arm, and look at how much more bamboo we can knock over. Pretty cool. We can keep doing this as well. As long as each one of these branches is at most 12 blocks, we can keep extending this on and on. So right now, let's give another little launch. I hope this works. Yeah, look at that. So this is how to make the machines pretty modular if you wanted to harvest a lot of bamboo simultaneously. You could also just use the same concept we talked about to harvest pumpkins and melons as well. So this is how you would do it. You have to, we got to break these rails first. You have to push down the little arm we talked about before. Alright, so now when it's pushed down, you can shove this along with a flying machine, and these will automatically harvest all of the melons. See? Boom, harvested in the little cart. We can also use flying machines for something much more destructive. So as you can see right here, we have a little TNT-Duping module set up. This will dupe on pushing and pulling, which is pretty good if you want a ton of TNT. So let's look at it. On the push, and then boom, pretty cool. And on the pull, also dupes, so we can just, whoopsies. Don't know where that went. Just an optical glitch. But yeah, a lot of TNT. So let's combine. Oh, by the way, if you want to build this, you start with the TNT over here, because the TNT will instantly be powered if you place it right there. So if you just put it over here and then you move it back and forth, as you can see, it'll start producing TNT again. So this thing produces a shitload of TNT, so let's attach it to a flying machine now. Alright, let's see if this works. Alright, so we have successfully created a duping flying machine. Super easy to do. And you can use this to make perimeters if you have little sweepers below. Pretty much everything. Alright, so those are the basics of flying machines right here. You could also put this over your friend's base if you want as well. You can also build flying machines without observers. Observers are a bit slower because they have a 1-tick delay. So if you wanted to build the much quicker flying machine, this is more of a traditional slime-stone slime machine design, you do something like this. So right now this piston's butted, so we'd update it. And as you can see, this is quite a bit quicker than the conventional 2-observer flying machine we were using before. So we can stop this really quickly. And yeah, this is a much quicker design. Thank you for watching the first episode of Redstone 101. This episode is more meant to just sort of go over the basics of flying machines and how they work. But let me know if you guys want some sort of tutorial on a flying machine with a bamboo farm or a melon farm, or pretty much any type of flying machine. I could do that as well. Alright, thank you.